Hello friends, this is Viraj and welcome to GS Core. So let us look into current affairs that were in news in today's newspapers, and once we have adequate content on them, what we will do is we will solve MCQs. So this will basically help in your prelims examination. Chalo, let us now look at the topics that were important in today's newspaper. So first is Special 301 report, which relates to patent. It is report by United States. India's service exports very important from economy point of view, also economy of this country. I mean by that, economy of this country plus of course prelims. Then we have the global plastic treaty that is currently being negotiated in Ottawa, Canada. Then we have Great Nicobar Island Development Project, which has been opposed by environmental experts, and Indian National Center for Ocean Information Services, which has done an extensive research on ocean currents. Ocean currents is one of the favorite topics of UPSC in prelims. Chalo, let us start with Special 301 report. So Special 301 report, as I told you, was in news. And why was it in news? Because India has been again included in priority watch list. Okay. And which are the other important countries in it? So there is China, Russia, Venezuela. Okay. Now what is it related to? It is related to violation of patent. Violation of patent. Alright. So US every year releases Special 301 report, and it is basically an annual review of how intellectual property rights are protected in the countries with which US trades. Alright. So priority watch list basically includes those countries. in which there is serious problem with respect to intellectual rights protection, enforcement of intellectual rights laws, and also market access to American companies which have only registered patents in America. ठीक है. So patents का अगर registration is only in America, so how do or what ease they have with respect to market access in a particular country, that is also decided, that is also taken into consideration. So patent protection, enforcement of patent. So even if there is patent and any benefit basically is not provided to the patent awardee, so patent is not enforced. Alright, patent basically is not enforced. And then market access, as we have seen with respect to American patents. Alright. Also, if you take into consideration Special 301 report, ना वैसे तो कोई action is not taken. Alright, it is not taken when a country is in priority watch list. देखो, watch list is just a warning. More deadly than it is priority countries. And priority countries are those against whom United States will take retaliatory measures, mostly with respect to not recognizing patents in US from those countries. So for example, if India falls into priority country, the list of priority country, that means patents from India may not be recognized by Washington. This is the first steps taken by US when a country falls into priority country list. Alright, now in which list we are? Priority watch list. So this is a warning sign as such. Alright, 20 trading partners basically of US at this point of time are in watch list. Alright, they are in watch list. And if you take into consideration now, US is still trying to convince those countries to tighten their patent law, including India. Basically including India. Now देखो, इतना पेटेंट का बात कर लिया. What is patent? Patent basically is, simple language में, patent is a technology. Based on innovation. which basically is marketable. So if I invent something, I will have to register the patent of it, and because I have registered the patent of it, economic benefit coming out of it, some part of it, some percentage of it will belong to me. All right, that is what is patent. And patent protection is considered to be important in today's day and age. Why? Because it promotes innovation. It basically promotes innovation. I will innovate something only if I know that I will get economic benefit out of it. All right, and also there is agreement under WIPO, World Intellectual Right Property Organization, which makes it possible for the members of WIPO to respect each other's patents. Okay. So those patents, if they are not respected, what will happen? What will happen? Economic collaboration and cooperation. Economic collaboration and cooperation will fail, and we do not want it to happen. So every country has to respect each other's patents. Okay. 301 report is basically looking into how much American patents are respected in other countries. If you look at the list of the countries now, so there is list of the countries. This is basically the list of the countries, but that again is not so important as such. Okay. What is important is Article 3D, because here is where the problem between India and United States lies. Now, problem of 3D is basically evergreening of patent. Evergreening of patent. Now, what is evergreening of patent? Evergreening of patent is, suppose I invent or I discover a particular medicine. Okay, I patent it. Now what happens is, some other person basically adds another ingredient, or I myself add another ingredient. And enhance, and I claim that I have enhanced the quality of medicine. So I have basically produced a first product. I basically made the first product and I patented it. Now once the time for which I will be given economic benefit is about to expire, what do? I add another ingredient to that particular medicine and I extend my period of economic benefit or period of protection. Okay. This is called as evergreening of patent. On top of that, what happens is, the ingredient that I am adding to the medicine does not make up for new product. It does not even enhance the productivity of the item that I have produced. It does not even lead to, it basically does not even need to creation of any new product as such. But what I am doing is, I am claiming that I have created new product, and this new product basically has new properties, enhanced properties basically. And what I am doing is, I am stretching my patent time limit. This is called as evergreening of patent. This basically is called as evergreening of patent. Okay. India is against evergreening of patents because India feels that mostly with respect to medicines, because of evergreening of patent, the prices of medicines cannot be controlled, and which results in people from poor backgrounds suffering. All right. Now let us go to the questions that are provided to us. Consider the following statements regarding US priority watch list. The US priority watch list is designation by United States government of countries that it believes do not provide adequate protection for intellectual property rights. Absolutely correct statement. First statement is absolutely correct. Second statement, countries on the list face trade sanctions by US. No action when it comes to priority watch list. If you are directly in priority list, then action will be taken against you. So basically there is no action. Third, India is put on list due to due to section 3D of the Patent Act, which prohibits evergreening of patents. Third statement is correct. Third statement basically is correct. So our answer basically is B, 2 only. It is basically B, 2 only. यहाँ पे if there was only, India is put on the list due to section 3D only. If only was there, this statement would have been wrong, but because only is not there, this statement is right. Because there are a number of other reasons also. There are a number of other reasons also. For example, there is a high proportion of online piracy. Now, this is more with respect to online content or movies or things like that. Also, what we see is there is trademark violation. In India, goods are sold using trademarks of reputed companies. Openly they are sold. And also there is insufficient protection in Indian law itself when it comes to patent. So these are other reasons because of which India is in priority watch list. So first and third statement are correct, or answer is only 2. Now let us move to India's service exports. So service export is very important for India. In fact, it is the service export of India that bridges our deficit. That basically bridges our balance of payment deficit. So as we know, what basically happens is we import more goods than we export, right? Now that means more foreign currency of India is going out of the country than coming into the country, right? And foreign currency is important because trade a country can only do in foreign currency. Now this gap of import and export is filled by service sector, where India basically exports more, and mainly it is with respect to IT and IT enabled services. IT and IT enabled services, where we earn the most of our foreign exchange from. All right, second sector which is important is basically tourism. Tourism is also export. It is a service sector export. So when a foreigner basically comes into India, a foreign tourist comes into India, it is export that we are doing. It is basically export that we are doing. Chalo. So why it was in news? It was in news because despite global uncertainties, India's service sector export has increased by 11.4%. That is impressive figure basically. And what we have basically done in this background is we have basically outpaced China, or we have increased our export more than what China could do. ठीक है, more than what China could do, and in fact the export of China have gone down. All right. So let us look with respect to our export, India's service export, what we find in it, what we have to learn in it, what we have to understand in it. So service export, what do we basically refer to when we call what we talk about service export? It is revenue generated by providing services to entities and individuals outside countries' borders. Okay. All right. What does it comprise of? What all is included in service sector? So basically, first and foremost, it is IT services. Then we have business process management services. Mainly you can say call centers. Then we have tourism. financial services that we provide, education, healthcare, etc. Education also, online education that we provide through foreigners is also included in it, and also healthcare, mainly with respect to telemedicine or with respect to medical tourism. When people from other countries, especially western countries, come into India to get treated for serious ailment, because in India treating those diseases is relatively cheap. Service exports refer to service generate. Okay, we have done that. Next, move on to, according to NASSCOM, it is IT services and business process management sector that amounts to 45% of India's service export. ठीक है. India's software exports basically grew by 12.5%. More than, it was more than 12% and less than 2.5% basically. ठीक है. So in this way, what we can see is India's service export. India's service export has shown resilience. Has basically shown resilience. Okay. Now let us go to the question that is provided. Consider the following statements with respect to the service exports of India. Service export include expenditure made by foreign tourists in India. This statement basically is correct. All right. So service export is considered when a person who does not belong to India, does not belong within nationality wise, I am saying within Indian borders, takes benefit or utilizes Indian services. Okay. So first statement is correct. Second, India's service exports is greater than China. It is not greater than China. Yes, it is true that with respect to speed of growth, we have done a better job, but it does not mean in number terms China has basically, it does not mean that we have more numbers than China. So when we talk about percentage wise, now the thing is that कि अगर हम लोग का 10 रुपए का एक्सपोर्ट था, so what has happened is it has increased by 12.2%. So now our export basically is of around 13 rupees. Take a total export. Now if you take into consideration China, it is already bigger than us. So even if percentage wise it falls, now number wise it will still do a better job. All right. Third statement, IT and BPM is the largest exported service out of the country. This statement is correct. The first statement is correct, third is correct. The answer is B, only 2. Then we come to Global Plastic Treaty. So in Ottawa, Global Plastic Treaty is being negotiated. It is basically in the last round of talks. And what we know about it, that it will be internationally legally binding agreement when it comes to ending plastic pollution in the world. All right, when it comes to ending plastic pollution in the world. So now when we talk about plastic pollution and when we talk about the treaty that we are considering, what do we basically know about it? So United Nations Environmental Assembly, it is basically the highest global environmental decision making body with representatives from all United Nations states. Remember this, from all United Nation states meeting to agree on shared environmental action. In March 2022, what happened is the assembly adopted a resolution to develop internationally and legally binding instrument to end plastic pollution, basically to end plastic pollution, including for the purpose of safeguarding the marine ecosystem. Okay. It will be a new global treaty, less like Monte Carlo or Paris Peace Agreement. So during the negotiations, what do we see? Two major camps emerging. What did the first camp say? The first camp is of the countries who want new instruments to only focus on waste management long after plastics have been produced. Okay. Now this will focus on end process. How basically plastics can be done away with after their use is completed. Okay. Second group or second camp are countries of high ambition coalition. This particular group is chaired by Rwanda and Norway. This group is interested in tackling whole life cycle of plastic. Whole life cycle of plastic use and disposal. Alright. So it is more holistic. It looks into disposal plus creation. Alright. The treaty aims to regulate plastic production and usage rather than imposing a blanket ban. So what will be done is a focused action with respect to plastic producers will be taken. Most of the time when it comes to single use plastic, एक बार use कर लिया, the polythene bags that you get in the market that are one use bags. Alright. So based on the line of thinking, when it comes to plastic, what has been done is certain steps are taken, and one is reduce single use plastic, second is promoting recycling initiatives, and third is basically showcasing the society as large how plastic waste can be effectively managed and utilized. Let us look into the question. Consider the following statements regarding Global Plastic Treaty. It aims to ban all plastic productions and usage worldwide. It basically does not aim to ban all plastic production, only single use wala plastic production it wants to ban. The treaty primarily focuses on reducing plastic pollution in marine ecosystem. Primarily nahi. It tries to eliminate every aspect of plastic pollution. Third, United Nations Environment Assembly resolution led to development of Global Plastic Treaty. Absolutely. Third statement is correct. So how many statements are correct? Only one. Only one statement is correct. Now coming to Great Nicobar Island Development Project. Alright. So what has been done is Great Nicobar Island Development Project has gone a green go ahead. It has basically got clearance for its implementation, but experts are opposing it. Experts basically are opposing Green Nicobar project, as they say it will violate constitutional mandate and ignore the view of tribals. ठीक है, चलो देखते हैं. Let us now take into consideration. Okay. So what this particular project will do? Great Nicobar Development Plan is a mega infrastructure project which will connect south tip of Nicobar, Great Nicobar, to Andaman Sea. This is one of the biggest infrastructure projects that India has taken up. Then we have Galathea Bay. which has 14.2 million units of cargo. So this Galathea Bay International Container Transshipment Terminals will also be part of Great Nicobar Island Development Plan. Alright, Great Nicobar will also have international airport, and that too a greenfield international airport. Alright, greenfield international airport. Then we will basically see Great Nicobar gas and solar companies with 450 megawatts capacity to spread over the islands of Nicobar. Also two greenfield coastal cities are planned. Greenfield matlab there has been no project over it. It is for the first time that a customer or an investor is putting money into it. That is called basically greenfield project. The project is already there. What you are doing is you are getting more investors. Beaches on either side of Galathea River are most important resting sites in northern Indian Ocean. ठीक है, for the leatherback turtles, world's smallest turtles. Okay, island basically is occupied by two tribal groups. First is Sompen and another is Nicobaris. Alright. What has been seen over the years is clearance of land around this particular beaches, on this particular project has taken place again and again, and hence when investors basically are worried about the economic efficiency of this particular project. So let us consider the questions provided to us. Which of the following statements regarding Great Nicobar Islands Regarding Great Nicobar Island Development Project, which of the following are the correct statements? Okay, the transshipment material terminals will be built along the Cambay Bay. The first statement is basically correct. It will move to Galathea Bay. Galathea Bay. Alright, second statement, it won't lead to any diversion of forest land for developmental projects. It will basically, na. Second statement is also incorrect. Without development of forest land, without diverting the forest land, it cannot be possible to carry out basically the welfare projects. So your answer is neither one nor two. All right. Now friends, thank you so much for joining this session. I hope you liked this session. So I'll take your leave. Thank you for joining in. We'll meet soon. Bye.